My name is Claire Goldsworthy and I'm the founder of The Fashion Advocate, an online community for Australian fashion, beauty and lifestyle brands. Through The Fashion Advocate, I support good people doing good things and I'm passionate about sharing their stories. I want to show you that if you have a great idea and the guts to make it work, that it can be done because there are people doing just that. I'm here today with Madeleine and Edwina from Girl World and we're going to talk about all things girly and gritty. Morning, ladies.
Today.
How you going?
Yeah, good.
What is Girl World?
So Girl World is an edtech startup. We launched at the end of 2016 at the University of Melbourne. And we launched the business because we were really trying to solve a problem for ourselves, which was how do we keep women engaged in the workforce and how do we bring up that next generation of girls to step into the future of work and not just survive but thrive. So we launched Girl World as a business that really sets out to go and engage with girls, secondary school girls around Australia. And what we do is we teach them skills in design thinking, in entrepreneurship, in leadership, and really try and get them well equipped for the future of work.
So let's talk about STEM. A lot of women still don't even know what it is, but the way that all industries are moving, girls need to know about it now. Tell me a bit more about it and why is it important that we seriously start encouraging our girls into the STEM?
So STEM, being science, technology, engineering and maths, is fundamentally important because it is the future. If we think about what's driving us forward, it is largely based around science, technology and engineering. So it's important because it's where our future is heading, it's where future jobs are growing, and we know that 75% of jobs are going to require technical skill sets in the future. So we need to encourage girls and boys into pursuing careers and jobs, including STEM, because it's our future economy, it's our future world. We think about how many pieces of technology we use today and how much it's growing. It's exponential. So it's really important for the future of our Australian economy that both men and women continue to pursue and get into STEM fields.
Part of the work we do is, we used to operate under this premise that girls can't be what they can't see. One of the big things, as Edwina has said in the STEM field, is women are hugely underrepresented right now. It's a big bro club. And we really need to...
I want to ask why though.
Because traditionally, if we look at all the research, we can see that girls select out. They select out of the subjects in high school and they start to select out even if they go into coding courses or into engineering. They're very underrepresented at that early tertiary phase. So it's this... it's sort of this systemic layered bias. So we have sort of economic, social, political, all of those things layer up so that we see this attrition rate of girls out of those fields. So what we try and do is showcase role models. So we work with companies and showcase women inside Airbnb, Atlassian, Twitter, some of the big tech companies in the world to show girls what they can be, to sort of, I suppose, give face to what does it look like to be an active, thriving woman in STEM. And I think one thing that's worth mentioning is STEM's very sexy right now. Okay, we keep hearing about STEM and it's getting shoved down the throats of the next gen as this sort of critical skill that they need, and that's certainly an area we think is fundamental to fueling their capacity for the future of work. What we also know is we have this concurrent rise of human skills. So we see that in an age of automation and globalisation of artificial intelligence, that this high-tech society is actually also creating this concurrent need for creativity and sort of compassion and collaboration and all these deeply human skills that can't be replicated. So we work across both spheres really, where we try and get those students to, yes, engage with STEM and understand its core application for the future of work, but also what are those other skills you're going to need to cultivate to survive? And they are those 21st century skill sets and self-leadership and self-direction and entrepreneurship and problem solving, which are not actually things that can be taught through pure academic discipline.
You can't get them from, robots and technology.
Exactly.
Yeah.
These are the things we must sort of look within to get.
That's really good, having a balance, I guess. And I think back to when I was at school, these kinds of subjects and anything to do with STEM, it wasn't even talked about. I mean, I know that was only, 12, 15 years ago, but I think it's really great that people are talking about it and encouraging women and girls into areas that they previously, I guess, when, it was not a thing to do. So I think it's really beautiful that you are encouraging young women to do that.
Yeah.
I think if you put yourself, if I just jump in there, if you put yourself in the shoes of a 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old girl sitting inside a school who has to make decisions that are going to impact her future, and you ask her to pursue STEM just because it's important. Going back to what Mad says, it's important that we explain why. Why is STEM technical skills so important? And that's where role models and real world industry experience is really important.
Give them good problems to solve.
Because we know that work experience isn't really a thing anymore in school. So we're asking students to make decisions, kind of blind decisions, trusting that STEM is important, but not actually understanding why it's so important.
Yeah.
No, it's so good. Let's also talk about the forthcoming book that you're working on.
Yeah,
You Are Not Your Face.
It's our little passion project that has suddenly turned into a juggernaut.
What is it?
You happy fire yak about this?
for it.
Okay. It's super exciting. What is it? It's a little bugbear that wouldn't go away. And it was us, as we've worked with thousands of girls here and increasingly, accessing kids in other markets. So we're quite interested in what's going on up into Singapore and India and over in the US for our World of Work platform. We recognised we needed to get closer to our user, if you like, really understand what's going on. What does it feel like to be a 15-year-old girl in the world today? And so this project was really born of that, where we thought, let's go out, and we did an open call for material for a storytelling project, really, and the title was You Are Not Your Face, and really trying to understand what is it that girls need beyond this hyper social media world that they exist within, this contouring and all this external gratification. What do they need to build within? What are those riches within that they need to go forward with? And so we put an open call out about 3 weeks ago. We've had hundreds of submissions. It absolutely slammed us. We would wake up and it was out of control, the amount of material coming in literally from the middle of Pakistan to Europe to all over the world. And girls, literally, it was like raw stories from them about, this is how it feels to be me. I am really unsure about who I am, where I'm going, and how to make choices. My frame of reference is small, and how can I access the people and the knowledge and the wisdom I need to make sense of myself as a human? So it's a really powerful storytelling project, and that will ultimately be pulled into a book, and it'll be illustrated partly by us and also by girls across the world. And we hope we get that out into the world first quarter next year. But it's really a voices of a generation that we hope to capture. And I think for us the remarkable thing was just the sheer volume of content and the power of those stories coming through.
And just the diversity of the stories too, and themes that we didn't realise were so important and for young girls.
Yeah.
It's kind of forced us to really think hard about our business and how we're really equipping and empowering that next generation of girls to reach their potential and to make a real impact in the world they're living in.
Yeah.
It's been fascinating.
It has, and I think one thing it's taught us and a bit of a wake up is, you can make assumptions. I think you can gallop along on your horse in your business, and we basically bridge students with industry, and then we look at what governments are doing and say, all right, well, what are some of the things happening there that we need to bring in? So we almost have a bit of an academic foundation to what we do, and I think this gave us a good chance to go back into that, that really important spot, which is what is it like to be a girl in the world
that
today?
human-centered design. We talk a lot about the importance of putting a human at the centre of a problem, and that's exactly what this book is forcing us to do, is to really put that student, that girl, at the centre of everything we're doing, to really understand what's going through their mind, what's motivating them, what's scaring them, what's frustrating them, to make sure that we're solving and we're providing them with the best support possible through Girl World.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that book to launch. That's so exciting. I mean, I wish I had something like that when I was growing up as a girl. I think one of the biggest things as a female is that you are constantly, I mean, even now with social media, you are constantly comparing yourself to other women, and you're not sure what other women are going through. So I think opening that conversation for young women is a really beautiful thing, and it sounds like it's going to be incredible.
And it's also told by, the best thing about it is it's girls talking to other girls, as opposed to this kind of external group of people kind of telling them the way the world is. It's so authentic and raw because it's coming through the voice of their generation.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, there's a poem that someone submitted. We published it on our platform, and there was a line in it which I thought was absolutely exquisite. And this young girl, she's 14, wrote, "Tell your daughters to love their bodies." And it had a number of things, but it's, "Tell your daughters to love their bodies because the swing of their hips will not determine their destiny."
Oh, wow. Wow.
And it's, you know, these young people,
Yeah.
they're smart, they're insightful, they're looking out at the world. And yeah, it's been a real privilege.
I just got goosebumps then.
So-
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that to come out. And you've also got an event coming up in February. What's that? And
Lots of events
Yeah,
coming
so
up
many
next
events.
year.
or a few
Yeah.
events.
It's
So a big part of our business model is
Yeah.
events and
Okay.
workshops. Yeah.
So in 2017, we decided to, how do we start manifesting all of this great work, and how do we start providing young girls with opportunities to engage, to learn, to get access to role models. So we started kind of working out how could we design an event or a real world experience for young girls from all across Australia. So that's where the WOW Summits were born, and WOW standing for World of Work Summits. And what they are, we've got 3 or 4 coming up next year, one in Sydney, one in Melbourne, and one in regional Victoria, and perhaps one elsewhere, TBC. And they are 2-day events, interactive events that look at what are the future-facing kind of skill sets, those human skill sets that Mads was talking about earlier. What are those problem-solving 21st century skill sets of communication and collaboration? We're looking at real-world problems and how do we equip young girls to be able to solve them through using design thinking, which is a human-centered design methodology, which is looking at how do we keep putting humans at the center of our problems, so we keep creating businesses and solutions and products that solve human problems. The second day is more of a TED-style event for girls, where we bring in amazing, incredible role models from all over the world, from startups, from giant tech companies to Antarctic explorers, and they share their stories and kind of really practical advice and tips to young girls. So we bring to life industries like STEM industries or political industries, journalism industries, and really unpack what does that career look like and how have they tracked from being a young girl like the audience to where they are today. And we look at it through the lens of world-shaping leaders. So we provide girls with world-shaping mindsets. We provide girls with future-facing tech sets. So what are those technical skills that they're going to need in the future? And what are their work-ready skill sets that they're going to need to be able to step into that future of work?
This is exciting. I feel like there's been no better time to be a girl growing up. I mean, there's a lot going on, but there's also a lot of support out there, and I'm really excited that you exist as a business. I'm excited for when I have young women to know that you're going to be here for the children that I have. It's exciting. Thank you so much for sharing your story today. It's absolutely beautiful, and I can't wait for the book, and I'm going to pen those events in my diary. If you would like to learn more about Girled World, head to girledworld.com. And as always, tune in next time for more stories of good people doing good things. Bye.